information, Doctor Who Voyage of the Damned, the 2007 Christmas special, is written by Russell T Davies and starring David Tennant and Kylie Minogue. So yeah, while Series 3 was airing back in 2007, Kylie Minogue's creative director Will Baker approached the production team requesting if Minogue can appear in the show, and Julie Gardner, the executive producer, said she could guest star in one episode if her schedule was free. So Kylie Minogue became a one-off companion, Astrid Peth, to allow the show to transfer the companion from Martha to Penny originally in Series 4, but eventually replaced by Catherine Tate as Donna Noble, who appeared in The Runaway Bride. So Russell T Davies took the inspiration from a 1972 disaster film, The Poseidon Adventure, with the spaceship turning upside down. Kylie Minogue described her cigarette girl outfit the most comfortable she's worn in years. So this special episode begins with the Doctor bump into Titanic, and he managed to use the console to fix the wall and landed inside it. And I love the sets, and I love the bit where the Doctor looked outside when he's like, right, and we see the Titanic, and the new intro theme is stunning. So the Doctor meets Astrid after she bumps into Rixton Slade and drops the tray full of glasses. I like the moment where the Doctor tells Astrid that he's a stowaway, so Astrid decides to get the Doctor a drink. So the Doctor meets a couple in a fancy dress eating a buffalo wing. Apparently Foon Van Hoff, who's played by Debbie Chazin, is based off Belle Rosen. I think Debbie Chazin and Clive Rowe are great as Foon and Marvin Van Hoff. I really like those heavenly hosts. I think they're really cool. So we had Weeping Angels in Blink and the Archangel Network in The Sound of Drums and Last of the Time Lords. Russell T Davies describes the hosts are functionally different as subordinate robot butlers. They reveal that the ship's namesake is indeed derived from the notoriety of a human vessel. All designations are chosen by Max Capricorn, who's a businessman from the planet Stowe. While Chief Stewart and security guards figure out that there's something wrong with the hosts, we introduce to Mr. Copper, played by Clive Swift, who previously appeared in Revelation of the Daleks as Mr. Jopal. He tells people with Red 67 ticket, the Doctor who used a psychic paper, and Astrid who hides behind the Doctor, that they're visiting London. His speech is pretty interesting, when it's obviously wrong, but he says the Santa Claus is the god and marries Mary, and people from UK eat Turkish people every Christmas like savages, and the Doctor obviously disbelieved that. When he asks Mr. Copper where he got the information from, he did a degree in Earthonomics, which makes me want to know what else they say about Earth. We also have small red alien called Banagafalata, a cyborg Zocchi played by Jimmy V. I think he's really cool. I liked the bit when they appeared in London on Earth and how Astrid reacted to it, especially when she's like, alien shops and this place stinks. Yes, Bernard Cribbins made his first appearance as Wilfred Mott, Donna's granddad. Bernard appeared in Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD as Tom Campbell in Peter Cushing films. Wilfred mentions that London at Christmas isn't safe because of Webstar draining the Thames and Sigarax's ship. I thought the song Stowaway by Yamit Mamo is pretty catchy.
You shouldn't be here, what's your tale? I ought to row you to the whale.
I also find Max Capricorn's speech on screen when he says, "My name is Max," and his gold teeth went ping. Funny, it's like Harry from Home Alone, and they're both bad guys and they're set in Christmas times. What a coincidence. The Doctor notices a meteorite is heading to Titanic and the shields are down. So he tries to warn the captain and everyone, but because he's not authorised to use a comm, Stewart and his men removes the Doctor from the party, followed by Astrid, Morven Foon, Mr. Copper and Banagavalata, trying to defend the Doctor. Rixton Slade sees one of the meteorite broke into a Titanic, so he tells Stewart that the shields are down. I think Gray O'Brien is great. Midshipman Frame, also known as Alonso, tries to turn the shields on, but he got shot. Still alive, thankfully. The captain being promised a crew of an old men who had their time, not boys. So then the asteroids crash into Titanic with Murray Gold's fantastic music. Most of lives in Titanic are lost, but obviously there are some survivors. Jeffrey Palmer, who played the captain, previously appeared in Doctor Who and the Silurians as Edward Masters, and the Mutants as the Administrator. So Chief Stewart opened the bulkhead and got sucked into space and killed, and we see the TARDIS flying down to Earth as it's programmed to lock onto the nearest gravity. If it didn't happen, I think it would be quite a short Christmas special. The great scene is where the Doctor explains his plans and introduces himself, saying, "I'm the Doctor, I'm a Time Lord, I'm from the planet Gallifrey and constellation of Casdebrus. I am 903 years old and I'm the man who's going to save your lives and all 6 billion people on the planet below. You've got a problem with that? In that case, allons-y." That's my favourite Doctor speech. It really shows us who he is. I noticed this episode is quite graphical, and we see more blood. Mr. Copper's head, the dead captain's head, and especially Alonso's stomach, and the sound effects where the host threw a hoop at the engineer. So they climb through the wreckage, fixing a host, without realising they're bad, until Midshipman Frame warns them after he hears the kitchen staff getting killed over the comm. It's quite intense after when the host strangled Morven and everyone ran from it, but luckily they crushed it with their scraps. We also have nice moments where everyone finds food. Mr. Copper mentions the Earth time, that it's Christmas Day and they're saying Merry Christmas. And apparently Mr. Copper was a travelling salesman who also reached retirement with little to show for life's work. He liked the company to have a first-class degree in Earthonomics to get the job of ship historian and feared about 10 years in jail. I love the line where the Doctor was like, "Can I call you Banner?" but Banner Gafalata says no. So the host came, so everyone reached the engine room. Sadly Morven fell into the engine furnace, the floor broke where he stood on, and obviously Foon is pretty devastated and couldn't live without him. The deaths in this episode is brutal and of course really sad. The scene where the hosts are flying, throwing their hoops in the Doctor, Mr. Copper, Astra and Banner Gafalata picking metal up and using it as a cricket bat is another fantastic scene. Banner Gafalata really kicked ass when he sacrificed himself to destroy nearly all hosts. It was a shame that they killed him off. He was to buy Astrid a drink before marrying her, but sadly it won't happen. Foon gets to join Morven after she ties a rope on a host to save the Doctor and jumped into the furnace with that host. So the survivors uses Banner Gafalata's EMP unit as a weapon against the hosts. Before the Doctor investigates Deck 31, Astrid kisses him for good luck. And yeah, David Tennant gets to kiss Kylie Minogue. David, you lucky man. I just like the scene where the Doctor raises a pan while surrounded by 4 hosts, and he thinks he can only ask 3 questions, the fact that there's 4 of them, so he can ask 12 questions. He could just ask another host. Because he's a stowaway, he gets taken to their boss, Max Capricorn, inside a machine. George Costigan as Max Capricorn is great. I love the banter between the Doctor and Max. I think it's entertaining, and also the best interrogation soundtrack. I wish it's not one of those unreleased music. Max's plans are crash the Titanic to Earth, blow up its nuclear storm drive and wipe the life out from Earth, so he can retire to Penhaxio 2, which is because his company failed and his board kicks them out, so he wanted revenge. Russell T Davies based him off Kansas in the Wizard of Oz film. He also wanted to make the scene intense by changing Max from mobile to cybernetic. I love the soundtrack where Astrid drives in forklift truck and crashing into Max. The scene where Astrid forces herself and Max falling down to the furnace is really sad. First watching it, I did not expect it. I was actually hoping Astrid would be the next companion. I really loved that character and Kylie Minogue betraying her. But originally it wasn't going to happen, but Russell thought it would be best so Kylie can focus on her music career. And he felt that scene as a beautiful image and romanticised. Kylie's a great singer. I remembered when this song was playing on radio when I was little, and I thought it was catchy. Because Max is dead, the host sees the Doctor as the highest authority, so he gets them to fly him all the way to the bridge. It's a brilliant gag when Midshipman Frame revealed his first name is Alonso and the Doctor is like, Alonso? The scene where the Titanic falls down to the earth and the Doctor flies it over Buckingham Palace is one of the most epic scenes in Doctor Who history. Especially the soundtrack, it's a blast to watch. It's a nice moment where the Queen waves and thanked the Doctor and wished him a Merry Christmas. This is how I see the Doctor. Like I said, he's a hero who saves lives. You can see why David Tennant is my favourite Doctor, and also because I grew up with him as the Doctor. I obviously can't blame the Doctor trying to get Astra back, plus she's wearing a teleport bracelet where she fell. But sadly she's just an atom, so the Doctor allow her to fly so she can travel forever. I wish we can see her again, that would be great. Rixton throughout this episode cares no one but himself. He makes unkind jokes. Until in the end he thanked the Doctor. Alonso sent SOS to a rescue ship and digging out the records on Max Capricorn. So the Doctor saved Mr. Copper from prison, teleported himself and Mr. Copper to Earth. He didn't want Mr. Copper to travel with him, but the credit card he's carrying, £1 million, is worth 50 million credits. So Mr. Copper is happy that he's got money and he can get himself a house and a normal life on Earth. And yes, everyone on Titanic, except the Doctor of course, are from the planet Stowe. So when the Doctor wishes him a Merry Christmas and goes inside the TARDIS, I hope it didn't land on anyone when it fell. And we also get the memory of Verity Lambert, the first producer of Doctor Who, which is nice because sadly she died in 22nd of November 2007. Information, I really loved that episode. I remembered when I first saw the trailer, I think it came out December 2007. I was 9 back then.
I'm the Doctor. I'm a Time Lord.
I couldn't be more excited when I saw it because how cool it looked. Shame they don't make trailers like this anymore. Voyage of the Damned's definitely my top 3 favourite Christmas specials. What do you guys think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.